I got 3 questions for tonight's Texans-Seahawks game. Texans related. 1, how many steps forward did this offense really take? How many steps forward? Offensive line looked better against the Titans, and it looked great against the Ravens. It was a balanced attack against Baltimore that allowed for C.J. Stroud to have his best game in years. The Ravens have the worst defense in the league, so you take that with a bit of a grain of salt. And it took the Texans a very long time against a Titans team that's one of the worst coached in the league. Moved on from their head coach. Actually looked decent early on against the Patriots yesterday, for what it's worth. So Brian Callahan, a bit of a mess, because, hey, if you can't even get the first 15 plays, which are generally scripted right, what are you doing? But back to Texans and Seahawks. How many steps forward did they take? They did take a step forward at least, but was it a baby step? Was it one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind? I mean, it's definitely closer to the baby step. But how many steps forward did they actually take? Also, number 2, going into this year, there was some buzz about the Texans maybe having the best secondary in the National Football League, especially with the addition of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I felt that it had a chance to be the best secondary in the entirety of the National Football League. Has it been that to this point? It's been better the last couple of weeks. And it's been part of a Texans defense that's been pretty damn good. I think that they were bad at tackling against the Buccaneers. I blame them for the loss to the Bucs. The offense is a work in progress, so I'm a little bit more understanding of the offense and their slow start to the year than I am the defense. But how good is this secondary? Because if you watched Thursday's show, we went through some of the numbers for Sam Darnold and this Seahawks offense. They look really good. It's Sam Darnold, so you're like, huh? Really? But can't deny it. Darnold throwing the ball downfield since they started keeping tabs with NFL Advanced Statistics on 10-plus yard throws in the air downfield. Darnold has the best passer rating ever on those. They've only been keeping tabs on this for about, I think, 8-9 years or so. But again, Darnold has the best stats ever throwing the football downfield. This Seahawks receiver core is pretty damn good. Starts with Jackson Smith-Njigba, who some consider to be a top 5 receiver. Most consider to be a top 10 wide receiver. He is constantly open over the deep middle of the field in a way that we often see Nico Collins open. Are they going to be able to slow him down, especially when you consider that the Seahawks have Cooper Kupp as wide receiver 2? And Kupp might not be the same guy he used to be, but he's still Cooper Kupp. You still have to respect him. And you've got a confident Sam Darnold behind an offensive line that's been giving him a lot of time, hanging in there, at times, much like last year, maybe a little bit too long, and just chucking it. And when you got 2 receivers like that, you got to ask the question, how good is the secondary? Will Derek Stingley shadow Jackson Smith-Njigba all game long, like we have seen him do from time to time? I would like to see that happen. That's how good he is. But I don't know if it's going to happen. In the past, DeMeco Ryans has seemed a little hesitant to put Stingley on a one-on-one island. And I mean in the past, year 1, year 2, up to the halfway point. Over the last almost season, there's been more trust in Stingley. And Stingley has been doing a hell of a job when asked to do that. Is he going to get to do that tonight? If he does get to do that tonight, how does Kamari Lassiter look in coverage against Cooper Kupp? I like Lassiter a lot. I think he's got a great physicality to him. But he's been off to a bit of a slow start. Did make some plays the last couple of games. But how's he going to look? How will Jalen Petrie do coming off the best game maybe of his career against Baltimore? Is he going to be exposed from time to time in coverage situations? I know the numbers suggest he's not as bad as some make him out to be in coverage, but is he going to get put in spots which are tricky for him? I don't know. I'm not here to make predictions. I'm just asking the questions. And this is my big question. I am a big fan of Kalen Bullock, the Texan safety. I think he has got incredible range. I think his height also makes him a game changer. I think he has great instincts that we have seen from the first time we've seen him set foot on a football field. In a game where you're going up against a quarterback that is great at throwing the ball downfield, is Kalen Bullock going to make plays? So we've been waiting for Kalen Bullock to make plays, and this is the kind of game where if he's going to make them happen, he's got to make them happen. Can he get a couple of takeaways, a takeaway, or a couple of deflected passes playing center field? This is the kind of game where he's going to be huge. I don't know. None of us know. Making predictions for any game is not something I really like doing. I can feel so confident about a matchup against a specific team, but for this Texans team, especially with all the time that we've had to wait for the next game, and with this Seahawks team that seems to be a really good team, that's also, I think, slowly getting better over time with Mike Macdonald in his second year as head coach, and with Sam Darnold and Clint Kubiak working together in maybe the best situation he's been in. It's crazy the Seahawks seem to have a good offensive line. I could be wrong on that, but it feels like that is the reason that Darnold is having all this time to throw. So it makes me wonder. So those are the two big questions. And the third question is this. Look at that coaching staff. Look at D'Amico Ryans. We know that D'Amico does a really good job defensively when it comes to game plans. But now he's a little more hands-off. Matt Burke is the one that's calling plays defensively. In this game tonight, will, defensively, the Texans figure something out with Sam Darnold in the way that we have seen this team come up with specific attacks for specific quarterbacks that have really slowed them down? I don't know. And then look at the offensive side of things. I mean, we saw Mike Macdonald's defense go up against C.J. Stroud as a rookie quarterback. And whether it was game one or that playoff game, I mean, it was fucking hard for the Texans to move the football. This time around against Mike Macdonald, with a little input now from D'Amico Ryans on both sides of the football, where he's being a little bit more of a delegator. Is he sitting with Nick Haley and maybe seeing something in the Mike Macdonald defense, considering he's somebody who understands defense probably better than he understands offense, which he played linebacker and he was a defensive coach with the 49ers. If he's in more of a CEO role, what is it that he sees in what Mike Macdonald runs that maybe the Texans can attack? And we will find out tonight. I do not know what is going to happen tonight. I am expecting the Texans to lose, to be perfectly honest. I hope that I'm pleasantly surprised. If they win this game, I don't know if I'm all aboard the hype train again. I think that the game against the San Francisco 49ers, where they're probably going to be playing in what feels like a road environment, I think that's also going to go a long way towards determining whether or not this team is back in a wide open AFC. But tonight, they got to take care of business first before we can even start asking that question. I have my doubts, but are any of those three questions that I asked, is it impossible for the Texans offense to take another step forward? Is it impossible for the Texans secondary that we put so much stock into to do some of the things that we have seen them do in the past? And is it too much to ask for this team with D'Amico Ryans, a coach that last year I think it was fair to ask questions about, just given how he handled press conferences, feeling like he was gaslighting us all the time. Now that he's allowing Matt Burke to run the defense a little bit more and focusing more on the offense, which is something that we have seen going back into the offseason, can he find something to attack in that defense? Very curious to see.